Salaki. I want to give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim, Kakodash. I want to give double honor to the Apostle Jim that rules well. Peace, blessing, salutation to Yakim out there, pushing forth to truth and sincerity. Salaki. Yeah, salutation to Yakim out there, pushing this truth and sincerity. You are tuning in, listening, being humble, and knowing your place as a woman, your role. You Israelite foreigners that are scattered across the four corners. And pretty much we're going to do this lesson about division amongst the household, which is in Luke, the 12th chapter. And what inspired me to do this is this video I saw with the jungle fever scene about the Italian girl who was messing with. I haven't seen the movie, but so I was, looked at a little clip. She was this chick was dating, this Italian girl was dating Wesley Snipes. And who to know, a lot of times, in the up north regions, it was a thing that was going on. Jeannie had a thing for the pepper, fucking the Moulian, Curious George, Raisinette, eggplant. These were all terms which, you had some certain Italian girls, which the Italians are Jakes, not all of them, but the overall Italians are Israelites. Pretty much, and this is another stock of Judites. When you really see Italians, and and there's a movie, I forgot what it's called. The Italians, they come from Italy, South Italy, and they'll tell you, they were the niggas of Italy. And when you look at their mannerisms, how they dealt with amongst each other, their style, and everything about them, they're indeed of a stock of Israel. Their anger and so forth, and even the Italians, they greeted each other, with a kiss. At the scripture, which goes back to the scriptures. I'm not saying a kiss on the lips. But pretty much what inspired me to do this lesson is, her father was pretty much angry as hell that she dated Jake, a so-called black man, Judite. And overall, what's going to happen in these last days is you're going to have a lot of these Israelites that's going to bethink themselves, women and men. And pretty much what you're going to see is Jake getting together. But you have a lot of those old traditions of grandparents and parents that pretty much don't like the tribes. What I'm saying is you're going to have Italian women and men that's going to wake up and bethink themselves in these last days and know that they're Israelites, and they're going to take upon, wives or, get married. Take upon, a man is going to take upon them wives of, a so-called Italian man, he might date or take upon a Judite woman. Just like you had the story in The Bronx Tale with Robert De Niro. He played an Italian, and he caught flack because he actually dated a so-called black woman. And amongst their culture, which culture is bullshit. That's pretty much what the so-called white man pretty much embedded in us. And why I say it's bullshit, because pretty much he really knows how to make money, continue to make money off our culture. It's like you have the so-called Puerto Rican Day Parade, which E makes money off of it. Dominican Day Parade, and then E knows with the Dominican nigga shit that they do, and so-called Puerto Rican nigga shit that they do. It's like when you call yourself a black man, he knows what black men do, or what black people do, and this nigga shit is deaf. So he makes millions and billions off the stupidity of our people. And what's going to happen, a lot of our parents, our grandparents, they're still embedded in this way of death, this culture. So they have taught their children, certain things, certain ways. And one thing too, Italians had this thing about them where they would not. It was like a disgrace dealing with Judites, so-called black men, because the notion, when other nations come here to America, the so-called black man is pretty much the worst thing ever. He's a reproach. He's a disgrace to the family. Even amongst Northern Kingdom, so-called Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, especially Zebulon. I actually lived around them, grew up around them, and it was a big disgrace, a big disgrace. You even have Issacharites. Listen, I done seen some racist shit, even amongst the tribes. You have this notion of, if an Issacharite chick brought a so-called black man home, my goodness, she might get her ass whooped. Like I said, if you can play this clip, her dad was smacking the shit out of her. The sons had to intervene. He was like, you, how dare you bring disgrace? You fucker, I didn't tell you to fuck with a nigga. You a black nigga. That's what he was saying. And that's even amongst Northern Kingdom. And I remember, I got an example. It was this, I was trying to sell a dog to this Northern Kingdom chick. She was a Zebulonite. And I met her at her crib, and she still lived with her I guess her parents, so to speak. And no matter of fact, her mom was there, and they kept looking out the window. They was acting as if I was gonna abduct her, selling her drugs or something. So her little sister was just looking out the window. So, they were saying like, yo, if you don't get your ass up in here, I'm gonna call your father. You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna why are you out there with that they looked at me like, why are you out there with that nigga? You're a black nigga. What are you doing? Such and such. So pretty much was a lot of riffraff. And there's many more, examples I have, but I'm just gonna, use that one. But pretty much what's going on what's going to happen these last days. You're going to have a lot of Israelites that's going to wake up out of that dumbass culture based what their parents have taught them to pretty much narrate their thinking, and they're going to wake up out of it. So Jake is going to, you're going to have the so-called black man. He may deal with a so-called white woman that look like a white woman, but she's an Israelite foreigner. And then, the mama, you may have some strictly so-called Black Panther, black only, parents. You may have a so-called Dominican chick. She might take hold a so-called black man, and her parents told her it's a disgrace to deal with a so-called black man. So it's going to be division amongst Israel in these last days. This is going back to Luke 12:51. It says, suppose ye that I've come to give peace on earth. No, the Lord, so it just showed you, all in all, everybody claims God is love this and God is love is that, but you still, even to this day, you have a lot of hatred towards, even amongst the tribes. That's how pretty much our people are whitewashed and brain dead, because everything's okay if you deal with a so-called white man. But when you deal amongst your own tribes, when the tribes, intermingle with each other, it's a very big problem. But unfortunately, that's what's that's going to happen in these last days. As I tell you, nay, but rather division. Again, because you're going to have a so-called Mexican mother and father that may hate her daughter because she's dealing with a so-called black man, which is a Judite. You may have, you know, and really mainly why I say this is because overall, it's really going to be a problem with a lot of these women really take hold on so-called black men in these last days, and even because the notion is nothing, it has such a so-called blacks here in America has such a bad depiction of them. Like I say, and it is a lot of scumbags of Judah, the so-called blacks, but you also have a lot of scumbags amongst Northern Kingdom. And I met and I've known and I knew plenty of them. But again, you're gonna have certain family. Even I've seen it amongst Judah. Even Benjamin, I've seen Benjamin. Benjamite fathers tell their daughters, not to mess with so-called black men. You have you even have certain so-called black women that tell their sons, why you dealing with that little Puerto Rican broad, right, this little so-called Dominican chick, and so forth. So again, the point is going to be division. He said for henceforth there should be five in one house divided, three against two, and two against three. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against her daughter. Cause one thing too, another reason why it's going to be a division is because of the upbringing. The father may want his son to go into the military, but his son has woke up and see there's no point of going to the military. The mother, she taught her daughter to be independent, strong, independent, but now she realized, Mom, you taught me wrong. You should be telling me how to be chaste, be modest, as the scriptures say, and love my husband, and to get a husband at a young age, not chase a career. And whatever my husband, which will set me up and guide me and lead me mentally and spiritually, he will direct me in my steps. But the mother, and it's crazy because I was talking to Jake today, and he was like, my mom's strong as hell. She independent as hell. And I was like, yo, no disrespect. I'm like, yo, is your mom married? He was like, hell no, not at all. I was like, see, so you're gonna have a lot of division in these last days. So the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So it's going to be division. The Lord, he never brought peace on this, never had it where everybody was going to come together, be, walking around in flowers and fairy tales. It's all Disney. That's Disney bullshit. This is reality that we're living in. Now, let me see. Bear with me. Hold on, damn. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Let me start. Okay. Bear with me one moment. Baruch 2. I'm going to start at verse 30. Baruch 2 and 30. For I knew that they would not hear me. Matter of fact, so verse 20. As thou speakest by thy servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write the law before the children of Israel, saying, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord that powerful. I will give them an heart and ears to hear, meaning a mind and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds. Where the wicked deeds, a lot of times, were they were pretty much bowed down by their parents to continue in or to follow. Because our parents, again, my I grew up around my mother, and pretty much in a household full of women, and never in my life I heard that I was a Hebrew Israelite until um I heard Benjamin music, and my mom listened to nothing but Benjamin music. So every once in a while I heard about Moses, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob being Rasta men. So that stuck with me. I heard, I don't, to be honest with you, I didn't really hear too much about. Well, I probably heard it, but it never, like I said, never sunk in about to the year 2011, and you know, that's when I started hearing about us being Hebrew Israelites, and so again, I was before then. I was, I'm a black man. I'm Afro Latino. I'm Afro Cuban, and that's how I lived my life. I was. That's all I knew. I was Afro Cuban. I was Afro Latino, and that's how I carried myself in those deeds, in those ways. But and that's all the tribes. Until the Lord wake us up, and give us ears and heart, our minds that can hear and can see clearly, and leads us to wisdom, and ears that can hear. We're in our wicked deeds. It says, remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their God, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people out of the land that I have given them. So that's what's going to happen in these last days. Our people are going to bethink themselves and remember who they are. So all that bullshit, I can't deal with you because you Puerto Rican, you Dominican, because you still have well, I know back in the day, there was a big tension between Simeon and Ephraim. There was no shape or form, you couldn't date one, either or, A man couldn't date one, a Dominican couldn't date a Puerto Rican chick, a Puerto Rican dude couldn't date a Dominican chick. But you even have tension between Issacharite men or Issacharite girls dealing with Ephraim and so forth, man. Where was I with this one? It's a First Kings 8:47. Matter of fact, I think I have. Hold on, bear with me real quick. Yeah, it's this one I wanted. First Kings 8:47. It said, "Yet if they shall bethink themselves in the land whether they were carried captives, and repent and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captives, saying, We have sinned and have done perversively, we have committed wickedness, and so return unto thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of in the land of their enemies." Who's our enemy? The so-called white man. Because this is to show you that even the so-called Italians have enemies. That's where you come up with that Giuliani law, and their whole organization got destroyed and put down. Who was their enemy? The so-called white man. So how does two so-called white people, pretty much, I'm just saying that shows you that those Italians were not the same as Edomites. But it says, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee toward their land, which thou gavest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, in the house which I have built for thy name. Then hear thou their prayer and their supplication in heaven, a dwelling place and maintain their cause. So that's why you're going to have a lot of division amongst the tribes in these last days, because again, you're going to have daughters that's going to wake up, meaning the daughters of Israel, and then you're going to have men of Israel that's going to wake up, and they're going to pretty much get together. That's why, and another thing that this is, things is about to take place, because you have these red pill channels coming up, and you have, Kevin Samuels out there that's pretty much shedding the light on these women and actually exposing of things of what their mom should have told them at a young age. And here it is, you got 50-year-old, 60-year-old women that are still destroying the household and telling their daughters to be sluts and whores because they were failures, because they're angry and upset that they've been lied to, you know. Second Chronicles 6:37. Yet if they bethink themselves in the land, whether they are carried captive, and turn and pray unto thee in the land of their captivity, saying, we have sinned, we have done amiss, and have dealt wickedly. Matter of fact, keep going. If they return to thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their captivity, whether they have carried them captives and prayed toward their land, which thou gavest unto their fathers, and toward the city which thou hast chosen, and toward the house which I have built for thy name, then hear thou from the heavens, even from thy dwelling place, their prayer and their supplications, and maintain their cause, and forgive thy people which have sinned against thee. So that, and when you wake up to who you are, then you start walking differently. You stop eating pork, you stop being a nigger, you start doing those wicked deeds which, pretty much you were grew up to be accustomed to growing up here in America or wherever you're scattered. Did I get this one? Bear with me. Hold on. 30. What's up? 30:3. For lo, the days. So verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, thus speaketh the Lord, power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words of the Lord, that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. So those days are coming. Because people fail to realize, and, a lot of our people fail to realize that who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ is a so-called black man. And he's coming to destroy and take down the so-called white man. And he's going to save the elect. He's going to come back to redeem and save the elect. And pretty much put the 2/3 and the wicked of Israel away. Because they're in the fucking way. Because the scripture says you can't put new wine in old bottles. So pretty much our parents and our grandparents, they're stuck in their ways. They've been lied to, they've been seduced. This information that we have today, they didn't have it. Pretty much the information they had was just strictly on TV, or if any, side sources that was out there. But and I'm not gonna say that. But yeah. But pretty much our forefather, our parents and grandparents, they were lied to, and they didn't, TV was pretty much their base of information. But us in these last days, we have this internet and this truth, and all these and all this, these channels that's pretty much exposing all the lies that we have have came across, So Zechariah 10:9, I'm gonna end it with this. And I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in far countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again. Is this what I wanted? Zechariah 10:10, and I will bring again also out of the land of Egypt and gather them out of the Assyria, and I will bring them into the land of no, I'm in it. But I'm gonna end it. Let me see. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm gonna end it. But yeah, Lord's will, y'all were edified. You know, we're living in good times. We're living in beautiful times. The Lord is ready to, start judging these people. Start, allowing, making this truth a real sign. But with that, Mr. Shalom.